Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the presentation of the Edifice. Thank you very much for joining. I'd like to start by, first of all, informing you that this meeting is going to be recorded for the benefit of those who are not able to join us on the live stream. So just give me a second while I sort out one or two issues, please. Hello all, so sorry for the break in transmission. It was due to a system error, but that has been sorted out now, so we're ready to go. So once again, I'd like to apologize for the break of about 7 to 8 minutes. My system suddenly went blank, but it's back up now, so we're good to go. So everything is fine. So once again, thank you very much for joining us on this opportunity. What I'll be doing is I'll be sharing my slides with you over the next 20 to 25 minutes. And then once I'm done, I'll yield to the mortgage person, the person who works with the mortgage bank that we're partnering with. And then he will also take his own presentation. He'll speak for about 20 to 30 minutes or thereabout. And then we'll have our Q&A and we close, okay? So I expect that this meeting would last approximately 1 hour or maybe 1 hour, 15 minutes, thereabouts. So thank you very much once again. I hope we can all hear me. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me, can you just type yes in the comment section? Let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. Can someone please type yes? We can hear you. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. Okay, so let's go straight into it then. I'll be sharing my screen. And like I said earlier, I'll speak for a few 20, 25 minutes. And then once I'm done, the mortgage person will also speak and we'll have our Q&A and then we'll call it a day. So here we are, the Edifice. Now, this is an interesting name, but the name actually depicts the vision we have for this building apartments. We actually think it's going to become an edifice in the true sense of the word, because the detail that we have put into the planning and the organization of this project is actually quite impressive. And I'm not saying this because I'm the one behind this project. I'm saying this because I know the amount of work that we have done, the number of meetings we've had, and just generally the consultations we've had with experts, professionals on the field, architects, engineers, surveyors. Everybody has come together and we're all excited about this project. And I wanted to be excited about it as well. So what's the vision of the company? The vision of the company is making home ownership dreams a reality. Making home ownership dreams a reality. And this project is right at the heart of that vision, because the moment we break the ground and we start constructing these units, we're essentially living that dream. We're essentially living that dream because we know that over the next 12 to 18 months or thereabout, the project would be done and completed and people would actually move into their own homes. So therefore, their dreams of owning their own homes would then become a reality. So what plans do we have for the Edifice apartments? First and foremost, we intend to build the best-in-class service block of apartments. Now, the key word there is serviced. So it's not just going to be a block of apartments where people would go in and they struggle for water, struggle for light, struggle for basic amenities. We are going to make sure it's serviced. And I'm going to talk about those services later on in the presentation. Secondly, we intend to develop high-quality infrastructure. By infrastructure, we're talking about roads, talking about street lights, talking about security, talking about drainage. All of this infrastructure is going to be put in place at the Edifice. So you can rest assured that you're going to have an apartment that is going to be sitting right around. The interesting thing is that we already have infrastructure right within that vicinity, but then we're going to take it a step further by creating infrastructure within the estate itself. Of course, to provide top-notch estate facility management. So we're going to have a facility manager, an expert specialist facility manager, who is going to be in charge of managing the facilities, managing the services of the estate. And of course, we intend to provide would-be residents this project at an affordable rate without compromising our standards. So there are two things here. There's the affordability, and then there's also quality. So the whole idea is to find that perfect balance between the two. We will try and as much as possible to make these apartments affordable. And in doing so, we've actually come up with some quite innovative mortgage solutions that I believe would appeal to people within different income levels. the middle class, the lower class, just anybody should be able to afford this apartment. And that's where the mortgage person is going to come in and just essentially explain how the mortgage options would work. But the whole idea is that we want everybody, almost everybody, of course, not everybody can afford to buy an apartment, but we want to make our reach as wide as possible. And that's why we've come up with those solutions. So what's our competitive advantage? What stands us apart? First and foremost, we have a growing brand. We're a young brand. We started business about 3-4 years ago. So we are quite young relatively compared to some other companies, but we're growing, we're fast growing. We have an experienced management. So even if we started business only a few years ago, some of us who are running this company have been into real estate for quite a number of times. So we're quite experienced. We have a dedicated team of engineers, of surveyors, of architects, of admin staff, customer service personnel, just name it. We have a dedicated team, people who are fully dedicated to the cause and who are sold into the idea of making home ownership dreams a reality. And of course, we are committed to service delivery, as I've said earlier, and very, very, very key in our business model is to ensure that our services and our products are as affordable as possible. So let's do a general overview of the products. The title is perfected. It's governor's consent, so there's no issue around title. It's a perfected title, governor's consent. What this then means is that the moment you buy into this property, all you need to do is we'll give you a deed of assignment, right? Once you have that deed of assignment, all you would need to do is to register the deed of assignment at the Lands Bureau in Alausa, and you can get your own governor's consent as well. Of course, that would come at a separate cost. The location is Ajayi Akpata New Town community, sandwiched between the Crown Estate, the popular Crown Estate, and Farah Park Estate. So it's within its own community and it has its own security. So that's what makes it quite peculiar. The community where this project is going to be located already has its own security. So that's quite fascinating. Hello? So sorry. I got there was a technical issue here at my system, but I'm back on now, so we're ready to go. So just give me a few minutes and I'll go back to my slides. Okay, someone said I'm okay, and I think it's, just give me a second, please. Let me sort things out. Okay, so I'll just go back to my slides. Let me ensure that this is being recorded. Okay, I'll go back a couple of slides just in case you missed out on some of the slides that I was just talking and I wasn't sure if you are connected. Okay, so let me go back to the plans for the Edifice apartments. As I said, that we intend to build a best-in-class service block of apartments, to develop high-quality infrastructure, provide amenities, to provide top-notch estate facility management, and obviously to provide would-be residents, would-be residents homes at an affordable rate without compromising our standards. Okay. Now, the competitive advantage, growing brand, experience management, a dedicated team, commitment to service delivery, and affordable prices, affordable pricing. Product overview, governor's consents, location is within the Ajayi Akpata community between Crown Estate and Farah Park. Terrain is fully dry land, like I said. Neighborhood consists of houses within the community, fully functional school located very close to the site. So people who are living there, you don't need to go outside of the community to send your children to school. There's a school within that community, that Ajayi Akpata community. And the amenities that are within the area include the gutters already. Now, this is not facilities that we are creating. These are infrastructure that are already existing within the Ajayi Akpata, within that vicinity where the site is located. We have gutters, we have electric poles, it's a fully motorable road. Now, the interesting thing about this road is that even when it rains, the road does not get flooded because the road has been graded, it's been partly paved, and the water flows straight into the drainage and just goes out. So it does not flood at all. So we're quite excited about all of the infrastructure that we already have within the vicinity and also the infrastructure we're going to create when we start construction work. So here is a view of how the place is going to look like. Now, I make bold to say that the edifice, the apartment, is actually going to look like this when it's done. So we're not just providing you with a 3D impression and then we're going to do something different. No. When the edifice is fully done, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this with all of the works. Obviously, the finishing is going to be done to best standards, and the detail that we're going to put into both the interior and the exterior and the landscaping is going to be quite confident about our ability to deliver, because we know that we're working with people who understand how to do construction, who understand how to do interior, who understand how to do finishing and all of that. So we're quite confident about our ability to deliver on time and on budget. This is a different view. So the view I showed you earlier was the approach view. This is a bit of a side view. It shows that the apartment is going to look really very good regardless of the view you're looking at it from. And this is also part of the approach view. This is looking at it from the side. Now, this is a view of the living room. So this we're looking at the internal architecture of the apartments. So this is the living room here. This is a view of the bedroom. Now, please note that all of this is not going to come furnished. So we're not delivering the houses or the units furnished. We are delivering them finished. We actually have two versions, which I'm going to talk to before I end this presentation. We have the semi-finished and we have the fully finished. So even the fully finished is not going to come furnished. So all of this furnishing can be done by us, but that will come at an extra cost. Okay. Now, this is how the kitchen is going to look like. And we're going to provide some fittings, not all of the fittings that you're seeing here, but we're going to provide some fittings for the kitchen before it is delivered. So what are the project highlights? We're building 1-bed, 2-bed, and 3-bed apartments, and obviously at various prices. All rooms are going to be en suite. So every single room is going to have its own bathroom and toilet. And of course, we're having spacious living room and dining area. Double security for residents. And I mentioned this earlier. So you're going to have the first level security and the main entrance gates. That place is already secured as we speak, right? So you have that security there. And then we are also going to have our own security at the edifice itself. So before any guest is allowed to enter the apartments, they are going to be checked, and there's a security guard that's going to be there at all times. And the way we've planned the edifice is such that the building is going to be facing the main road. So you don't have to drive too far. As soon as you approach the road where the building is going to be, you're going to see the edifice right in front of you. And obviously, it's a very serene and noiseless environment. For those of us who might be interested in coming to the sites for an inspection, you would notice when you get there that it is 100% serene, 100% noiseless. You can actually literally hear a pin drop when you get to that site. So there's no sound of traffic along the Lekki-Epe Expressway. So you are totally shut out of the regular hustle and bustle that we experience in Lagos. So let's go into more details regarding the project. Let's dive a little bit deeper. So what are the details? First and foremost, for the finished units now, we are going to give you complete tiling work. So when I say tiling works, I'm talking both floor tiles and wall tiles. So it's going to be complete tiling works. Wall screeding, we're not just going to paint, we're going to screed before we paint. And the ceilings are going to be done complete with POP finishing. Painting is going to be done, obviously. The interior is going to be fully painted and the exterior as well. And we're going to install burglary for security. Of course, we are providing our security, but of course, just to ensure that there's that double level of security, we're going to provide burglary as well. Full electrical installations, full mechanical installations. We have sanitary fittings. So obviously the bathrooms, we're going to have some fittings installed in them. Doors, external and internal, going to be done. Kitchen fittings, like I said earlier, there will be some, not fully, but there will be some level of fittings that will be installed in the kitchen. And we'll have a mini children's playground, not a very big one, but just something quite, just enough to cater to the children that of the parents that own the units in the edifice. And then the next point is that we're having a pre-installed inverter. Now, this is very, very important. The reason why we need to have this inverter is because we don't want people to be bugged with the noise of generators. So we don't want to have people having their generators in the noise pollution, because of the air pollution and all of those things. So we are going to ensure that each unit is equipped. And we'll have a mini gym. So it's not going to be a very big gym, but it's going to be big enough to cater to the residents of the edifice. So we'll have a few equipments there, the elliptical, the treadmills, and a few dumbbells, just enough to ensure that people who want to keep fit don't have to drive too far. Okay. Okay, so what are the services that we're going to be providing in addition to those other details? First and foremost, we're going to ensure that we have portable water supply, which includes central boreholes. So we're going to install boreholes centrally, so each individual unit doesn't have to install their own separate borehole. We'll have our central boreholes, and then we'll have backup power supply through the inverters that I mentioned earlier. Security, I've spoken about security, so that will be provided as well. Waste management, very important. Each unit is going to have their own waste management sort of architecture. So you have your bins in front of your doors, and then you would have a licensed waste management company come and take over that waste. And so that's going to be done occasionally, maybe 2 times a week, once a week, as the case may be. And then we'd have cleaning. So each of the common areas are going to be cleaned, the landscaped areas, the lobbies and all of that. We would have people who would be coming there regularly to do the cleaning. And of course, landscaping and gardening. So we'll have the horticulture done, we'll have the landscaping done, and there will be gardens around there. So we'll have gardeners who will be coming to clean and to garden, essentially, the area, the common areas mainly. And we also have arrangements for sewage disposal. So a sewage disposal company is going to be available to come and at regular intervals, possibly once every 3 months, once every 6 months, dispose of the sewage that has accumulated within the Edifice apartments. And finally, we would have routine maintenance done. Routine maintenance includes repairs, fixes, just anything that may occur that requires a technician or an expert to come and check and ensure that things are being done and put in order. So with repairs that are required, that person will be contacted, and that person would also be available to attend to such requests. So here I have a snapshot of the floor plan. I know it's a bit small and you probably can't see all the details, but we're going to have this included in the brochure. So when the brochure is ready, which should be in the next few days, it will be sent to as many, to be posted on our website and obviously made available to as many people as possible. But this is a snapshot of the floor plan, the 2-bed and the 1-bed floor plan. As you can see, the rooms are all en suites. Project duration. We have made a very conservative estimate of approximately 15 to 18 months to complete this project. Now, this is not cast in stone. We could actually complete this project in less than 15 to 18 months, but we're just saying, just to be on the safe side, maximum timeline that will be required to complete the project is 18 months. But we know that we can actually, if we push very well, and we will push as hard as we can actually finish this project before 15 months. So we're just being conservative here. So the big elephant in the room is the pricing. Here I have a snapshot of the pricing for both the fully finished units and the semi-finished units. So for the fully finished units, the 1-bed is going for 19.5 million, 2-bed is going for 26 million, and 3-bed is going for 33 million. For the semi-finished, you have the 1-bed at 15 million, the 2-bed at 19.5 million, and the 3-bed at 26 million. So what's the difference between the fully finished and the semi-finished? The difference is really more the internal finishing, because both the semi-finished and the fully finished are going to come with complete external finishing. But the difference is that the fully finished version would have internal finishing done and some fittings done as well, whereas the semi-finished would not have the internal finishing done. That's really the difference between the two. So what are the payment options? And I think this is the part that would interest a lot of people, because people want to understand how can they pay for this unit. Not everybody has the pay for units. So the question is, how do we then pay for these units over a period of time? Like I said earlier, affordable, flexible mortgage opportunities for as many investors as possible. The first option we have here is the NHF mortgage. Now, NHF, it stands for National Housing Fund, and it's a fund that is being managed and approved by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Now, I'm going to allow the representative of the mortgage company to do justice to this topic, but I'll just talk a little bit about it. The maximum tenure of this facility is 30 years, depending on your age. So it's either it's 30 years or 60 years minus your age. So if you're 30 years old, you can actually access the full maximum tenure of 30 years. But if you're 35, you can only do 25 years. If you're 40, you can only do 20 years. If you're 45, you can only do 15 years, and so on. Now, the interest rate is 6%. So that's what makes it very affordable. Interest rate is 6%. Now, we have the commercial mortgage, which is the mortgage that is provided by the mortgage company directly. So that's different from the NHF mortgage. The major difference is that the NHF mortgage provides facilities for up to 30 years, whereas the commercial mortgage provides facilities for just 15 years, and the interest rate is different. The interest rate for the commercial mortgage is 18%. On both occasions, on both circumstances, you are required to deposit at least 30% as your equity contribution. Now, for the company payment plan, again, the initial equity has to be 30%, and we allow for payment to be spread over a period of up to 18 months at 0 to 15%. Now, what I mean by 0 to 15% is that it depends on the bucket of the timeline that you're picking. So if it's between 0 to 3 months, you won't have to pay any interest whatsoever. Between 4 months to 6 months, you pay 5% interest. Between 7 months and 12 months, you pay 10% interest. Applicable interest would have to be paid. Okay. Thank you very much for watching and for listening. I apologize again once again for the various times that I went off due to one or two reasons. But at this point, I want to thank you once again for listening, and I'll then hand the mic over to he'll introduce himself, and he will also speak to you regarding his mortgage solutions. And then once he's done, we can then ask our questions. So without wasting more time, I'll unmute him now so that he can do his presentation, and then we'll take the Q&A. Okay, so Alex, you have the floor now. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Bamidele. Please, can you allow me to share my screen, please?
Oh, okay. I'll just make you a co-admin so you can share your screen. Co-host. Yes, you should be able to share your screen now.
My name is Alexander Jalekun. I'm the Group Head Mortgages in Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank. We are happy and delighted to be on this laudable project, the Edifice. So I will go straight to my presentation and also to the product, the mortgage product that is available for this project. Like I mentioned, I represent Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank. We used to be called GT Homes. It was a subsidiary of GT Bank until 2012, when GT Bank divested from all its subsidiaries, and then we became Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank. We have a full national tier bank mortgage banking license of the Federal Bank. We're also accredited by Federal Mortgage Bank. The bank is fully operational in Lagos and Abuja, where we offer mortgage advisory services and full banking transactional services. So I'll go straight to to the products. sorry, one of the critical products we are bringing to bear at the Edifice is the Federal Mortgage Bank, which is called the National Housing Fund. The first speaker has touched a little bit on this, but I'm going to elaborate further. The purpose of this mortgage product is to acquire residential housing unit for personal use. And like he mentioned, the maximum tenure is up to 30 years. That means it means that the last mortgage year is 60. So the idea is if we are 30 years now, you have opportunity for the maximum 30 years tenure. If you are 40 years today, you have 20 years maximum tenure. If you are 50 years today, you have 50 years maximum tenure. And the mortgage value, the maximum mortgage value that can be assessed is 15 million. And like you mentioned, for the different housing types, the 1 bed, the 2 bed, and the 3 bed, you can assess 15 million from National Housing Fund. And where your equity at this point will naturally not be 30%. For instance, if you are buying the 1 bed, which is 19.5, your equity will be 4.5 because what you can access from National Housing Fund is 15 million. If you are buying the 2 bed, which is 26 million, your equity will not be 30%, it will be 11 million because you can access only 15 million. So if you are buying the 36 million, which is the 3 bed, your equity at that point, like I mentioned, the maximum mortgage value that can be assessed is 15 million. So the equity varies based on the housing types you need to do. And then the processing period is on best effort basis, but as a bank, we've been able to ascertain that within a period of 9 to 12 months, if all your documentation are in place and we have the right they target the right timing with the National Housing Fund, in 12 months, we should be able to get disbursements while we disburse to the developer. And like you mentioned, the construction period is conservatively between 15 to 18 months. So within the period, if you have made up your contribution, and by the time the property is being done and delivered, we can book your mortgage and we can move the proceeds to pay for the balance. The pricing is 6%. So this one makes it the most affordable mortgage that you can get in Nigeria. But the time duration is what we are talking about. So this makes it different from the normal commercial mortgage because this NHF is being done by the act of the federal government of Nigeria. And for you to be able to access it, you must be a contributor to the National Housing Scheme. The National Housing Act stipulates that 2.5% of the basic salary must be remitted to Federal Mortgage Bank, which gives you eligibility to be able to access this fund. So if I have any subscribers to this project, we will have to we ensure that you are contributor to the National Housing Scheme so that we can take on your applications even. So sorry for the mix-up. I'm back. Like I mentioned, on our residential mortgage, the maximum tenure that is available is 15 years, and the mortgage value that can be assessed is up to 60 million. So for instance, for the one bed, you might need to do 20%. But for the commercial mortgage and for the two bed, the minimum equity that you need to do is 30%. And for the three bed, the minimum equity is 30%. So for the three bed, the 30% is about 10 points, averagely about 11 million, while the bank will avail you 25 million as the mortgage. And in the two bed, the bank will avail you about 18 to 19 million, while the balance will be brought in as your equity. Yeah, the processing period of this is 4 weeks. And then all the associated costs will be paid. There are one-off fees, which is about 2%. And that's all. Within 2 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, the mortgage will be available. So I will go on to the requirements now. Okay, this is the process flow. All you need to do once you have your offer, you have indicated your interest at the edifice, you have a provisional offer from them. We review the offer, you fill your account with the bank, and you submit your documentations for us to review and do analysis of what you can afford as an individual, because your mortgage repayment should not be more than 1/3 of what you are earning. And we'll have to do your credit search too, to have your credit history and to know your affordability. Because for you to be able to take a mortgage, there is acceptable. You have to look at your debt to income ratio, and it should not be more than 1/3 of your earning. What I mean is, for instance, if you are earning 100,000, your repayment should not be more than 33,000. So if you are earning 200,000, your repayment should not be more than 66,000. This one gives you room to be able to satisfy other needs aside from repaying your mortgage. So those are the criteria we look at for the commercial mortgage. And once we get approval, we'll book your loan and you move to the house once it's available. So I'll go on to the requirements. Like I mentioned, you have to open an account with the bank. This is for the NHF. You complete the National Housing Fund application form. Once you have done your equity with the developer, which is 30%, you give us the evidence of it, and we'll look at your pay. That is based on your pay slip and your bank statement for 1 year. We'll also review where you work, if you are in paid employment. But if you are self-employed, we'll have to look at your 3 years banking statements to look at the trend of your business and and determine what you can afford as a loan. And if you are in self-employed, if you are in paid employment, we'll look at your ID and your you'll have to have introduction from the employer. And those are the actually critical things that we'll look at. Thank you. If there are other questions, I'm available to take them on. Thank you.
Sorry, he's having some issues with his network, but he'll be back on very shortly. Please give him a few minutes while he sorts himself out.
Okay, I'm back now.
Okay, please go ahead. Please go ahead with the presentation.
Okay. Sorry, maybe I will have to step back a little while. Okay, I was talking about the NHF requirements that you have to have an account opening with the Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank. You need to complete the NHF application form, the evidence of equity contribution, and which is and your pay slip. We need to do your analysis and profile you to determine your affordability. Like I also mentioned, we will have to do a credit bureau on you to know your credit history. The essence of it is to determine your debt to income ratio, because your debt to income ratio should not be more than 33% of your earnings. I did analysis earlier on, but I'm not sure if you hear me. If you are earning 100,000, your debt to income ratio should not be more than 33,000. If you are earning 200,000, your debt to income should not be more than 66,000. And then to give you an idea, if you are earning 250,000 and you want to access 12 million, your repayment should be in the range of 77,000. So by and large, if you are buying the one bed and you have done your equity contribution and you are taking the National Housing Fund at 6%, your repayment on monthly basis will be in the range of 77,000, which makes the product much more affordable, and where I will encourage everyone that has the capacity to be able to subscribe to it. And okay, the same for the residential mortgage. You have your account opening form with the bank, and you complete your individual mortgage application form. You have ID, and the document to verify your income. But this mortgage, like I mentioned, is at 18% per annum, and it's available for willing subscribers within the period of 3 to 4 weeks, because it's a mortgage and we give that accordingly. So those are the critical 2 products that is available for this project. And we also share this presentation, and our office, we can visit you and can also share more lights once we indicate your interest and do individual appraisal to each subscribers on depending on the housing type you are buying into. Thank you, and I'll take your further questions afterwards.
Okay, are you done, Alex?
Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, I thought you were going to give an example of how an investor, maybe this can be a question from me. Okay. How can an investor subscribe to one of our units, say the 2-bedroom unit, for instance, given that they have to put down at least 30 or more % as equity contribution? Can you give a bit of a scenario to show how they can then qualify to be paying less than, say, 100,000 per month over a period of time? How is that possible? Do you have any analysis you can do? Because some people will be wondering, can I really, with my salary, some people are thinking of their salaries and they're asking themselves, can I meet up? Is this something I can afford? Okay, I'll create a scenario.
Okay, someone that is earning 250,000 and is like 35 years old. He has 25 years tenure for NHF. So on that wise, if he's taking a loan of 12 million from the National Housing Fund, his repayment is 77,000, which falls within the debt to acceptable debt to income ratio. 77,000, you are earning 250, and you want to take a loan of 12 million from National Housing Fund for 25 years. your repayment is just 77,000. That, like I mentioned, it makes it much more affordable to be able to buy and to take a loan from National Housing Fund of 12 million, which will pay over 25 years. And the good thing is that a property you are buying today, even if you are locking on through mortgage, there is room for capital appreciation. You might look at your repayment on a monthly basis, but there's room in the next 5 years or thereabout, with the development going on in that axis, the same property you buy for 19.5, in the next 5 to 10 years, you'll be seeing them in double the amount with the rate at which inflation is going, and cost of building is also going up. So the property you locked onto, even because you don't have the bulk of the money, but you are logging on through mortgage, the property you are buying to, you have opportunity for capital appreciation on it. And looking at people that are still in rented apartments, anybody that is having a rent of 500,000 or 1 million, opportunity to be able to use mortgage. You pay average of 700,000 on yearly basis. That means it is better to lock on to a mortgage plan where you be paying 77,000 or thereabout on monthly basis, and you are investing into your own property. Because if you spend maybe about 5-10 years in a rented apartment, you will have given the landlord up to about 7 or 10 million, and you are investing in something that is not yours. The day you are leaving, the landlord will not say, okay, you have done well, oh, please come and take a bob. So the opportunity is for us with the capacity to be able to take mortgage, that even we don't have all the fund to be able to buy the property, once you have your minimum equity, there's opportunity for you to take on the mortgage and secure that property while you pay over time, like I mentioned.
Thank you very much. I think yeah, that puts it into perspective. So what that essentially means is that if a property is worth, say, 19.5, 20 million, you can actually key in, if you have your equity contribution of about, say, 7 million or thereabout, or 8 million, yes, you can key in, and then the balance will be spread over 25 years. And that is for someone who is 35. For someone who is 30, it's a longer period to pay, right? So that means that the monthly payment would actually be less than the 77,000 that you mentioned. Am I correct?
That's very correct. Even for 30 years, the monthly repayment is even below 70,000. It's about 67 or 66,000 thereabout. So with the longer tenure, you have opportunity to have a monthly repayment that is low.
Question I would also like to ask, just before I allow other people, just before I take other questions from
Hello, Bamdele. Sorry, I lost you. Can you come again?
Okay, what I was saying, it was just a simple question. At what point, and I'm asking this question on behalf of everybody who might be interested, at what point does the person who is within the NHF mortgage, at what point do they have access to the unit? Assuming the unit is complete, the NHF has been approved, and you've disbursed to the developer, and they start making their payments. When do they have access to the apartment?
Immediately. I actually exchange the disbursement for the title from you while the subscriber moves into the property immediately.
Fantastic. So what that tells me is that the subscriber can essentially, if they intend to use the place, for instance, for short-let business or for rental, they can actually use the income that they're generating from the rentals to service their monthly mortgage payments. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're correct. In that sense, they may even earn more, because if your repayment is 77,000 on a monthly basis, over a period of a year, you will be in the range of 800,000. There is opportunity for you to be able to do a rental and that exists for something close or even much more. So you might be
much more.
You might be earning much more.
Because if we do a quick calculation, the rental yield for properties in Lagos is about, say, between 5 to 7%. Let's take 6% as an example. Now, if you buy a property for 25 million, or let's say 20 million, right? That property at 6%, you're making 1.2 million per annum as rental. Yeah. And that's assuming you're using it for rental. If you're using it for short let, for instance, that's even more lucrative. Your earnings could actually be a lot higher than that. So essentially, you could actually own the property and also be making a net gain from transacting on the property over a period of time. So, I mean, I think it's a win-win for as many people as are interested. So at this point, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the chat. Helpful to get the slides. Yes, I believe the slides can be sent to our audience. Can they? Alex, can we share our slides? Can you share your slides?
Okay, I've seen some questions.
I was asking if you can. Sorry, Alex, can you hear me?
Okay, I've seen some questions. Yes. Can I pick some questions?
Okay, if you want to pick the questions, you can go ahead. I thought I could read them and then you answer, but if you want to pick them, you can go ahead.
But Babatunde Ashogbon responded, what happens if there is a default due to loss of job? When we are about to book the loan, there is the aspect of insurance cover. There is what we call credit life, which caters for death, permanent disabilities, and loss of job. In the case of death, the insurance company pays for the full outstanding mortgage. God forbid, death is a risk and it's been fully mitigated when we are booking the loan. So in the event someone subscribes and has a loan of 12 million, possibly the person dies afterwards, the insurance company will pay the full and within a 9-month period, you'll be able to take on another job. So there will be an insurance cover on the property that is provided via mortgage. Is this 6% annual interest on reducing balance? That's the question from Ken the additional. Yes, it's 6% on the reducing balance throughout the tenure of the facility. There is another question from Bewato Sunday. The minimum wage is 30,000. What is the hope of such a person to buy a house? To buy a house is not for everybody. There must be interest and you must be able to afford it. So it is not about someone that is earning 30,000 minimum wage that we are looking at about. We are looking at someone that is earning on the average of 150,000, 200, 250. That's where you'll be able to make your equity contribution through your savings over the last period, over the last over a period of time that you have been aspiring to own a home. Okay, the Biola Kinsomin said, my company has been having withdrawals from NHF or my pay slip, but I haven't been able to process NHF. Yeah, withdrawals. What you do, what you pay on your to federal mortgages, remittance. Like I said, it's statutory. 25% of the basic salary goes to the National Housing Fund. If you do not take that opportunity to access it, it is not automatic. You must take a position that I want to buy a house and I want to use my National Housing Fund. And it is good because I've seen a lot of people that have been contributing to the National Housing Fund, but it is when they want to retire, they will now realize that, wow, I've been making remittance all this while. I've not taken opportunity to use my NHF to buy something for myself. It's a pool, and it is, you can go and assess your contribution after you retire at 60. The process is for you to go to National and Federal Mortgage Bank and access the money you have remitted all these years. So my advice is, if you are in paid employment and you'll be making remittances to the National Housing Fund, it is better you access it while you are still active in service and use that fund to your benefit. Okay, I've taken some. Maybe will be able to take other? I know that there are
I
some
think
that's directed at you.
Most of the questions are actually directed. Someone said, Adenike said, supposing the salary is 150K monthly, and NHF contributor, can that person qualify? I think 150 will it be enough? Well, I think it depends on how much your equity contribution is. You'd have to make sure your equity contribution is a bit higher, so that the loan amount would not be so high. So, I don't know if that's correct.
That's it.
Okay. Someone says, what happens if there is an unintended default in the month? Will it be rolled over to the next month? I believe that's for you.
Yes, if there's a default, possibly there was a mix-up and your salary is not paid, it will be rolled over to the next month, wherein you will have to clear the one for the outstanding month and the present month. It will just be a default charge on the outstanding amount you have not paid over the period of time.
Okay. I believe all the other questions are for you, really. I have seen one that's for me, but I think what I would like you to do is to take as many questions as possible, and then I'll look for the one that I can answer. There's one from Olubumi.
Okay. Uzuamaka Omiyale says, with my past contribution to the National Housing Fund, does that form my part of equity? Like I mentioned, what you have been remitting remittance is 2.5% of the basic. If you look at the standard pay slip, maybe your basic is about 100,000 or thereabouts. 2.5% of it is like 2,500. So if you look generally, what you contribute to the National Housing Fund is a meager amount.
Hello, Alex, I can't hear you. You've gone off again. Alex, are you there?
Hello, sorry. My network failed.
Yes, but we are back now.
Yeah, I said your equity contribution is your commitment to the house you are buying. Your remittance is different. Your remittance gives you access to be able to access to National Housing Fund. Your equity is your commitment to the property you are buying. I think that solves it. So it's different.
Sorry, Alex, I don't want us to miss. There was a question that was asked, and I think you skipped it. Olubumi is saying, you mentioned rental options, but I once heard that you are compelled to live in the apartment by NHF and not rent it out. How true is that?
I didn't get that.
Someone is asking that. It says you mentioned rental options, but I once heard that you are compelled to live in the apartment by NHF and not rent it out. How true is that?
That's not true. It's
Okay.
not true. You can rent your property, but it is stated that it's for personal use. You can rent it out. A lot of people have houses and they access their National Housing Fund and they use for investment purpose. So that's not true.
I don't think the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria really has the right to determine how you use your property. I mean, it's yours. You're paying a rent, you're paying a mortgage, but I don't think they should be the ones to dictate how you use the property. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The next question says, what about those without NHF?
Yeah. If you are not contributors to National Housing Fund, you can also take a commercial mortgage, which is at 18%. That is readily available. It's just that it is a little bit higher than it's higher than the NHF. And the beauty of it, you can take more. Your limit on National Housing Fund is 15 million, but on the commercial mortgage, you can take as high as 60 million, like I presented. Okay, someone said, Joy Nwachukwu, can I pay above the repayment amount? Yeah, you can pay above the repayment amount. For instance, if your repayment is 77,000 and maybe in a month you have a windfall, you want to pay 1 million, you can give me instruction. I have serviced my repayment for this month and I'm creating additional 1 million. Please use this 1 million to reduce my mortgage facility to make my repayment to come down. It can be done. Some people take a mortgage loan from me and I've given them a tenure of 15 years, but invariably they can mortgage in 2 years, some even in 1 year, some in 5 years, and there is no penalty for prepaying. So even if you are paying before the time, there is no charge penalty for prepaying your mortgage.
Okay, the next question I believe is directed to me from Chinyere Aguncha. She's asking, please, when exactly is the Edifice project going to start on site? We are going to start work next month. Before the end of next month, we intend to start setting out. Like I said during the presentation, the team is ready. The team is on ground. Our architects, engineers, surveyors, everybody, they're all ready. We've identified the spots that we want to build the project on, and we are ready to move to site. So we're just trying to work on 1 or 2 little things here and there before we then start work. So we should be able to move to site, say within the 2nd or 3rd maximum, before the end of the month. We should start work on site, and we're going to be posting regular updates of the progress that we're making on site. We'll be sharing these updates on our website, on social media, and on various platforms. So we are quite confident that we will start work on site next month. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions. Yes, go ahead.
For those of us in that facility, okay, that's a good question for those Nigerians in diaspora. We have a product, although I did not mention it, is a commercial mortgage, but there's a for Nigerian diaspora, and you can use that one to lock on to the Edifice, and we'll provide mortgage to you accordingly.
Okay, great. Seems we've answered. Someone says, can you explain the difference between the fully finished and the semi-finished? Okay, I explained during the presentation that the fully finished essentially covers everything. So we are finishing on the exterior, and we'll also finish the interior. So it comes with full electrical installations, mechanical installations, POP, painting, interior and exterior, fittings in the kitchen, fittings in the bathroom, and all of those things. So, and the doors, external doors and internal doors. So everything is going to be fully finished. Whereas for the semi-finished version, you would only have the external areas fully done. The internal will not be fully finished. So you're not going to have your units plastered and painted, for instance. You will not have the POP done. You will not have the kitchen fittings or the sanitary fittings done. And the doors would just strictly be the external doors. So you're not going to have the internal doors done as well. So there's a limit to what you're going to get for the semi-finished. Now, you might probably be asking, why would anybody want to subscribe to the semi-finished version? Well, for 2 reasons. First and foremost, some people don't have the capacity to obviously more affordable rates, and then they can then finish it up at their own pace and convenience. That's the first reason. Second reason is that some people might want to finish their apartments to their own taste, right? Maybe they are probably into interior decoration and they probably feel they want to do it in a particular way. We give them that opportunity. They can paint it however they like. They can put the tiles that they want to put. They can put whatever fittings they want. But we would like to give people those 2 options. I believe that answers the question. I joined late. Am I to get a summary? Yes. You would get a recording, would share with all of those who registered for this webinar, and we'll also share the slides to as many people as possible.
Okay, Mary Augusta, please clarify this misconception about NHF. To access housing fund, one must provide proof of ownership of a land with C of O. Yeah, directly, since you are buying from a property and the developer has mentioned that the title of the land is well titled, there's a governor's consent. All you need to get from them is the offer letter. We as a bank will get the copy of the title and give that as a proof to National Housing Fund. And to get National Housing Fund, before now, it takes a while because of the bureaucracy. But over the few years, it has been restructured. And as a bank, we have a good working relationship with them. And like I mentioned, the turn of it. So you are assured that once you keen to this project through NHF, your disbursement will come in within the period of a year. Thank you.
Okay, kindly additional is, I think this is directed to you. Says, please let us know the mortgage products for Nigeria and diaspora. Yeah, you spoke about that earlier, and we can share that. Maybe what you can do is you can share the slides with me. I could forward it to the audience, to the participants via email or through any other means.
Okay. Olakune Jim, you mentioned how can a self-employed person access your commercial mortgage? Yeah, you can access the commercial mortgage, but with a little bit difference. One of the critical criteria is that your equity contribution will be 40% instead of 30%, and you must show us from your 3 years bank statements how profitable the business you are doing is, and you need to be able to prove that you'll be able to afford the loan you are subsequently. That's just actually the difference between the loan to a self-employed and a paid people in paid employment.
The semi-finished. Okay, someone is saying that I should go over it again. Essentially, it's the external and the internal. The external is going to be fully done, whereas the internal is only going to be partly done. So there will be no internal finishing, no painting, no tiling done, no fittings done. You just have the shell. So the internal is just essentially shell, just block work and a little bit of mechanical and electrical installations that will be done. But the fully finished should have everything done. Plastering, screeding, painting, fittings, all of that to be done. All you need to do is just to bring in your furniture and you're free to move in. Okay, someone is saying, can we get the contact of, okay, Alex, do you want to share your contacts on the chat box there, so that if anybody wants to contact you directly, they can do so. Hello, Alex, are you there?
Yes, I'm sharing my number now, okay. And I'll also share my email address. So okay, in the event you want to send me mail, and I can receive it and I respond to you accordingly.
If you are sending him any messages, please indicate how you got to know him, where you like, for instance, you can just mention that you listened to the presentation of the Edifice and you like to get more information about mortgage options or whatever it is you want to clarify, just so that he can keep track of the people that are sending him messages. Okay, Oludayo is asking, can we pick our apartments ourselves? Allocation will be done by the company. We can always, we can entertain sort of people who want to pick certain apartments or certain positions within the apartment block. We can't have those discussions, but what we do typically is that we do the allocations ourselves. Okay, but of course there are always exceptions to those to every rule. So we can entertain anybody who feels, look, this is the particular apartment we want, and we'll see if it's still available. Of course, there's no reason why we shouldn't allocate to that person. Someone says, how long does it take for disbursement for the commercial mortgage? He mentioned that during his presentation. I think he said 3 weeks to 1 month. Is that what you said, Alex?
Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks. Okay, 3 to 4 weeks. Wow, we still have so many questions. I'm not sure we'll be able to take all the questions, but we'll try. Further clarification, can I have, okay, someone has asked that already. We've answered that. What's the name of the mortgage bank? Imperial Homes.
Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank.
Mortgage Bank, yes.
Yeah, we used to be GT.
Do you want to take that?
Hello?
Yeah, Mary Augusta is asking, can an NHF account holder decide which mortgage bank should process their funds?
Yeah, you can use any mortgage bank. Yeah, there's once you have account with the mortgage bank, you can use any mortgage bank to process your national housing fund.
Okay. Taiwo Afuye is asking, is there any reason why I believe he wants to say NHF fund is being remitted monthly, do not reflect in one's portal for monitoring? Do you understand that question?
Let me look at that.
Is there any reason why the fund being remitted monthly does not reflect on one's portal for monitoring?
Oh, okay. You can visit the Federal Mortgage Portal, and you can also download an app from. You can see your remittance on a monthly basis, and depending on your company, there should be a part, because if your company remits to FMBN, it should be updated.
What is the total cost?
On monthly basis? Yeah.
Okay. Someone is asking, what is the total cost for the 2-bed and the 3-bed? Okay, so the 2-bed for the semi-finished unit, it goes for 19.5 million for the 2-bed, and for the 3-bed is 26 million. Now for the fully finished, the 2-bed goes for 26 million and the 3-bed goes for 33 million. So these are the current prices, but please bear in mind that the prices would increase as development progresses. So the reason why these prices are at this point is because we haven't started work yet, but the moment to start work and we progress on site, the prices will be reviewed upwards. Okay, someone is asking, can it really be possible to get disbursement from NHF in time for this project? I believe Alex has answered that. By the time the project is done, obviously, he said it takes about 9 months to 12 months to process disbursements of NHF. And by that time, the project would either have been completed or gotten to a very advanced stage. So yes, it's very possible that before the, in the next 1 year or thereabouts, one can actually get disbursement from the NHF based on the speed of the processing time that Alex has given us or guided us. Please, what is the YouTube link? Can it be sent to clients? What YouTube link are you talking about? I'm not sure what that is all about. What if I have a plot of land? Can I get funds from NHF to build my own house on my own land? You want to answer that?
Yeah. It's no longer achievable because it's been limited to completed property and purchase. The rudiment of getting NHF to fund your property is so cumbersome. It needs a lot of building plan, perfected title, bill of quantity, and proper monitoring, because a lot of money have been diverted through that means. So Federal Mortgage Bank is not keen to avail money to build your property like before.
Okay, so just to touch on that, and also to, I think, further buttress the response I gave to Amaka's question earlier, right? And you can also corroborate me, Alex. I think what happens because some people might be asking, well, we haven't even said the construction yet, so why are we talking about NHF, where if NHF is not going to fund at pre-construction or at construction level? So what can then happen is that, Alex, please, you can come in as well, correct me, but I know that we can structure a situation whereby you start off with the commercial mortgage based on if you're able to meet the terms and conditions that Imperial Homes has. Start off with a commercial mortgage at 18% over 15 years. And then during that period, the mortgage bank would use that time to process the NHF, right? So by the time the building is completed or close to direct to the NHF, so that you're then paying a much lower interest. Do you want to add to that, Alex? Did I miss out on something?
Yeah. Although I missed you, I lost you at a point, but it's possible that you complete the payment through commercial mortgage while we process your National Housing Fund. So when your National Housing Fund is disbursed, we'll refinance your commercial mortgage with the National Housing Fund. And at that point, your commercial mortgage will have been reduced to the money you're expecting from Federal Mortgage Bank, which is 15 million. And your interest rate will considerably drop to 6% at the rate of Federal Mortgage. So it is possible that you can refinance your commercial mortgage with the proceeds of the National Housing Fund, which we process for you.
Okay, great. Alex, someone is saying that they're still waiting for your contact. Haven't you sent your number and your email address?
I've sent it 2 times, so you can look at the chat up and you'll be able to see my contact and my phone number. My email and my phone number is there.
Okay, do you have a prototype of the 2 or 3 bedroom? No, we don't have a prototype. What we have 3D drawings, we have 3D impressions, we have the floor plan. We're going to have the brochure ready very soon, and we'll share updates regarding flyers, banners, and anything that has to do with the project. We're going to be posting on our social media page, social media handles, and on our website as well. Okay, what is the expected payment pattern for the 30% equity on the edifice? Expected payment pattern, well, we expect that the 30% will be paid upfront at once. However, again, we realize that not everybody can afford to drop maybe 7 or 8 million or 9 million. So we can enter into a payment plan to say, okay, if you can't pay the 9 million at once, you can pay that 9 million over 3 months, over 4 months, would accumulate it, would keep it in a reserve account for you. When you have that full amount of equity that's complete, we then start off the process. Okay, so if you can't afford the entire 9 or 10 or 7 or 6 or 5, whatever the amount is, you can enter into a payment plan with us. We'll keep that money in a reserve account, and once it meets up to the 30% requirement, we then start the process from there. I believe that answers the question of Amos Ige. Someone is saying, if the maximum loan can be obtained is 15 million and one intends to purchase the semi-finished for 15 million, does one still need to make an equity contribution? Yes, I believe you do. Alex, is that correct?
Yes, you need to do your equity contribution. Like I mentioned, if you are buying the 1 bed, which is 19.5, your equity contribution is 4.5. If you are buying a 2 bed, which is 26 million, at that point, your equity contribution might even be above the 30%. You will have to do equity contribution of 11 million. If you are buying a 3 bed and you want the National Housing Fund, and the maximum loan you can access is 15 million, at that point, your equity contribution will be 18 million. So 18 million is way above the 30%. And because the maximum allowable loan you can take from NHF is 15 million. So the balance you are putting on top will be your equity. Am I clear?
Yes, I believe that's quite clear. Everybody, a lot of people are saying they can't see your number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type it myself on the comments so that they can see it. So I'm just going to type your number. Just give me a second, please. 632. Okay, so I've just sent it. I believe you should all have it now. That's Alex's number for those who might want to contact him directly to make inquiries. I believe we're almost done. I can already see a few questions here. The text is okay, still talking about the number. Okay. Okay, so I believe we are done. Just a quick one. There was a question that we skipped. Rick here was asking that can PBOs be qualified? PBOs are the realtors within the P1 group. Will they qualify considering that they don't have a regular salary? And I think Alex had touched on that, and he had said that even if you do not have a regular salary, you are self-employed, you can actually access. The only difference is that the requirements will be slightly different from that of someone who is into paid employment, but it's accessible, right? So if you want to get all the details as to how you can access the NHF as a self-employed individual, please feel free to contact them directly. They will guide you. Once he guides you and you understand the requirements, you can then come back to us and then we'll take it from there. Okay, Alice Okoro says, I think John Chibu's question was misunderstood. I'm not sure which particular question you're talking about. Jackson is saying, what's the duration of the project? I covered that during the presentation. Maybe you probably came in a bit late. I said, conservatively speaking, we are looking at 15 to 18 months to complete the project. But we do know that we can actually do it for a period a bit less than that. But we're just saying that on a worst case scenario, it shouldn't take us more than 18 months maximum to complete the project. So if we start next month, as we plan to start, latest by September 2023, the project should be done, right? That's the very, very latest. But we believe that between, say, maybe April, June, and September, we should be done with the project, okay? I believe those are all the questions. I don't think there's any other question to ask. Just before we conclude that, we are actually planning to have a physical face-to-face seminar at a location to be determined, one of the top hotels somewhere in Lagos. So the venue and the time, I was just talking about the fact that we're having a seminar somewhere in Lagos, in a hotel in Lagos, where we're going to be breaking down the entire project. By then, the project would have started and would show you a lot more detail about the project. I would also invite Alex or maybe a representative of the organization to come and also speak with us. And then we will also have the opportunity to speak with individuals on a one-on-one basis. So if you have any questions, you can save those questions. If you're interested in attending this physical seminar, save those questions till then. We'll have representatives of our own company who would sit with you and guide you as to how you can actually start your dream to becoming a homeowner very soon. So we're looking forward to that. We're quite excited about that. I'll be sharing the details, or a representative of the company will be sharing the details with you in the days or weeks ahead. So something to look forward to. Okay, so thank you once again. I believe we've answered all of the questions. If there's any other question that we have not answered, please feel free to contact me. Let me drop my own contact details in case anybody wants to contact me for further questions. So that's my number there, 08055414019. If you have any questions, you want to start, you want to get on board, you have the funds already, you have your equity contribution, you're ready to move, please feel free to contact me. or if you have questions regarding the mortgage, please feel free to contact Alex, and I'm sure he'll be very happy to respond to your questions. So thank you once again. Alex, do you have any closing remarks you want to make before we close?
Okay, I'm also excited at the physical meeting, and I can commit that at the session, we can create room for mortgage clinic, where individual can be assessed, and we can look at what you are earning and tell you right there, this is how much your repayment will be if you are taking 18 million as loan, 20 million as loan, and we'll look at you critically and advise you, provide mortgage advisory for you individually. Thank you.
It's fantastic. I think that works perfectly. So we're not just talking to the general public. It's going to be personalized. So it's going to be a one-on-one interaction. So whatever concerns you have, whatever questions that you have that you cannot or you do not want to share publicly, we would have people from both organizations, from my own organization and from Imperial Homes as well, who would sit with you and structure something that would work based on your peculiar circumstances. Like I said earlier, would provide more details regarding the seminar in the coming weeks. So those who are interested, please feel free to drop her number there, and she'll also be available to speak with you if you need any guidance. So thank you all once again for listening and for staying. And I look forward to having you on board as homeowners in the edifice. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.